Yeah, hello everyone, and welcome to today's class. Today I'll be taking us through the PixelLab interface and letting us understand how best to use the PixelLab app. So I'll be getting us through the interface so that we can know how to use the app. So to begin with, I'll be going through the first five icon at the bottom of the interface. The first five icon at the bottom of the interface. So these icons, they are the major tools in PixelLab. PixelLab is like a conglomeration of different tools, as different tools gathered together into one. So the first tool by the left side introduces you to your backgrounds, and that's your background, which is also your canvas. When I say canvas, I'm referring to this shape, this workspace, your worksheet. That is the canvas. So this first icon introduces you to the canvas and also to our project, the project works which you have created on PixelLab. If you click on the project work, you will see different projects that you've worked on. Can you see this? So these are different project work that have been worked on. So using this also, you can design, you can select the shape of the canvas you want to work with, the shape, the size, how you want it to be, the proportion for the design you want to create. So depending on the design, you can create them. Most designers don't use this because there's actually other ways to select the size of your canvas. We'll get to that at a later time. So that's the major thing for the first tool. Now we're going to move to the second tool, which is our text tool. The text tool is located on, like, is the second tool after the first tool. So the second tool here is your text tool. It's an icon E. So if you click on the text tool, you get this text and quote. The text allows you to add a new text. This is a new text. So now all I have to do is edit my text, delete the previous one. Then I can type in anything I want. I can type in anything I want. I have my text here. So to move the text, you can either use this to move your text, or you have your position tool. The position tool allows you to make little movements depending on how much you want to move it. Is it now? I'm moving in a big leap, and if I drop this, I can take little leaps. So that's the movement tools. When you have your text, the edit tool allows you to edit it. You can add more details. You can remove something. So you can add more details. You can edit it. You can change the text entirely. So that is your edit tool. So delete allows you to delete the text. The one I click now is your undo. This is your undo button. Let's say you make a mistake while designing. That's undo, to go back the last step you take. So this is my text. We've talked about edit, delete. Then the next one is your copy. Copy just allows you to duplicate the text. If you continue to click on it, you continue to duplicate the particular text. So I'm deleting this. So back to this. So your to front to back, that is much complicated. To front to back simply talks about the layers of your design. There is in PixelLab we design in layers, just like many other designing software. So after placing this, if I decide to copy a new text, let's copy this and create a new one and say live for the king. So the sons of the king lives for the king. Let's say this. Good. Now if you click on this button over here at the top right corner, it will show you the layers you have in the design already. You take a look at this. Okay, this is the background. Let's know this. So we have two layers. This is the first one, the sons of the king, and this is the second one. If I'm to drag this above each other, you might not really see it clearly now because of they are the same color and the text is tiny. But live for the king is right above sons of the king. So now if I wanted to push this text to the back of the design, I want to send it to the back, like I want it to stay behind this design, I'll just use the to back tool. I've clicked on to back, and if you check the layer again, you can see that live for the king has gone to the back and the sons of the king is now above it. So that's layer to back, and then to front it brings it back to the top. So that's the to back to front tool. You'll get to understand more as we go on. So again, let's continue. We have the to back to front tool. We have the position tool. I've explained it already. Then we have the relative position tool. Let's say you want to move the icon. Let's say I have something like this over here, and now I want to move it to the topmost corner. Let's say the top right corner of the canvas. Instead of wasting my time using the position tool, it can take a while trying to do this and get it over to the top. So instead of trying to do that, you can just as well use your relative position tool. Take it to the side, to the top right corner, to the left, to the middle, centralized, down. So all this allows you, this is very important in alignment. Remember, we discussed one of the principles of the design, and alignment is very important. So this helps with alignment. So that's the relative position tool. Then we have the size tool. This is the size tool. If you want to increase the size of your text, or you want to decrease it, you want to make it tiny, you can use this. You want to make it bigger, you use this. So that's the size tool. We have the padding tool. Give spaces at the side of the text. Now you might not really understand this very well yet because you are just starting. For those who have an idea, you'll notice there are core fonts and graphic design, that is considering text. So there are different type of fonts, and there are some fancy fonts that have elongation, like sans serif fonts, elongations that sometimes might be covered by the text box, like they won't be visible enough. I could show you now, but not to waste our time and to avoid making a very long video, we'll consider that in a later class. So left padding gives space at the left, while right padding it gives space in the text board at the right. Let's undo that. So this button, wherever you see this button here in any tool, this particular button is just telling you to reverse whatever you have done to the design or whatever icon you're messing with. You meant to click on that button, it undo everything, reverse it to the original state that it has been in. So if you have done several adjustments and you just click on it, you'll be undoing all of it at the same time. So that's padding. Now the color tools allow you to select color. You change the color of your font, the color of your text. You change the color of your text with the color tool. You can also select a gradient color. What gradient does, it allows you to have multiple color on the same text. There are some pre-created gradients on the there are some pre-created gradient color, and these are them, but they are not often used by designers. They are just shown, they're just there to let you understand how it works. To create your own gradient color, you have to click on the plus button over here, and it will bring you to this interface. Now there are different dimensions or different types of gradients depending on positioning. So you can see all this is the same color. This is the first color, this is the second color. You can see as I'm moving it, the whole thing is moving too. So depending on what you want to create, you want a left to right gradient, a top to bottom gradient, a adjacent or diagonal adjacent gradient, center to outside, like opaque gradient, top to bottom, left to right, whatever you want, you pick it. Then to change the color, here is purple right now, so let's change this. After clicking on this, you can see I clicked it and there's a golden outline on the body. Let me click the other so you can see the other one has no golden outline. Now clicking on it, there's a golden outline. So I click the first color, purple, and there's a golden outline letting you know that you've selected it. Then to select the color, you click on this color tool over here. You click on the color tool and it brings you to the color wheel. So with the color wheel, you can pick whatever color you want from the color wheel. Another way to pick a color is using the dropper tool. We'll talk more on that too later. This is the dropper tool. The dropper tool allows you to pick a color from an image or a texture or anything you've created on the canvas already. So you can pick a color tool and you can pick a color using the dropper. Now another one is your using the color code. Using this tool, you can actually select or pick a color using the color code. Let's say I want to create a white color now. I can just come over here and use the color code. So this is the color code for white, and you see I've clicked on it and I've created white. So that's the color code for white. So I can either use that or I use the color wheel, like we mentioned before. You can either use the color wheel or use the color code or the dropper tool, depending on the one you're more familiar with and depending on the work you want to create. Now the second one, let's change this color also, and I'll use the color wheel to pick blue. I click on the color tool, I selected blue. Now taking note of this here, all these are used to determine how light or how deep the blue will be. Now the last one at this place will determine the transparency of the blue. The blue, if you want to confirm the color you've selected, you can just take a look at the icon over here. You see this circle over here, it's showing you the particular color you selected. You see as I'm adjusting the depths of the blue, you can see it's becoming lighter and deeper. Here also I can try to make it darker. The first one helps you to make the blue lighter as you scale it to the left, while the other one makes it darker. You can see that. Now the last one, it reduces the opacity, so the blue is almost like it is disappearing. So that's what this tool does. So now I've selected this color and we click OK. You can see the gradient we've created. Let me change the background color. I already showed you the background too, so you can come to background. Okay, we have to go to the main background too. I showed you the interface, but let's go on. So back to our text tool, we have this, we have your color, you have texture. Let's say you don't want to use a color and you want to pick a texture from your phone. You don't want to use a color, a particular you don't want to use a, okay, let's pick this and let's pick a color. We decide to use, okay, this is a shape, let's pick this. This is an image, sorry. Now this image is a texture. I decide to pick something like this. This is a gold in a champion gold, and I've picked this. Can you see it? So instead of the original color that was there, you can see we have placed texture. This helps to give your text a special type of effect. It won't look like the regular. You can take a look at it, comparing it with the white text. It looks more fancier and more classy than the white text. So that's your texture tool. There are several other things you can do with the texture tool, but we'll get there. Opacity helps you to reduce the visibility. If you want it to be very visible, leave it at 100%. Then the more you decrease it, the less visible it becomes. So these are also used to create effects while designing. Then you have the rotation tool to rotate your text however you want it. Then we have your max tool. Max tool is a professional tool in graphic design, commonly used in logo creation and shape manipulation. We'll get to it at a different time because it actually takes a lot of professionalism. Then we have your font tools. We allow you to change the font of your design, of your text. We can decide to have there's several fonts that comes with the PixelLab application. You can use any of them. Click on it, you can see the font has changed. You can try to pick it again, click any other one, and you have that. Then you can also download fonts and add it to the PixelLab interface. This is my own fonts that I've downloaded on my own phone, and I've added them. So these fonts, there are ways you can add them. We'll get to that also at a later time. Then curve, to just curve your text. If you don't want a straight text, you can make use of curve to curve your text. Then we have background. Sometimes you might want to give your text a background. Let's say considering the law of contrast now, where that says a dark background, you should have a light text on it. So let's assume the background is light and the text on top is light, and now I want to try and increase the visibility. So I'm trying to create, maybe put something behind the text. I will just go to the text background. Now when I activate it, I can place, you can see a layer of background behind the text separating it from the canvas. So I can decide to pick any color I want. So let's go with a dark color. Let's use black. You can see it now. The visibility is perfect. In fact, it's very nice. It's matching and complementing the good color. So that is your background tool. So let's go on. From the background tool, we have your alignment tool. When you have several texts, let me explain alignment tool. To use alignment tool, I will duplicate this text so that we can really see the effects. Okay, this should do. So good. We can all see this now. Now let's okay, let me change this from copy to later. All right, so we have this. You can see this text now. You can take a look at, you look at the left side of this text, this side, you notice it is aligned, it's on a straight line. But if you take a look at the other side, this is not aligned. Now take note, it's not every time that a design will be aligned. It's not every time your text has to fall on a straight line at both sides. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't have to make it fall on a straight line at both sides, but sometimes just to depending on the alignment you're using for your design, and to make it look neat and make your text look clean, you might want to tweak the alignment. You can go for a center alignment, which place all the text on each line to be in the middle. So you can see now all the text on each line are at the middle of the text box. So you can decide to go for left alignment, which is the original one, and you can set to go for right alignment depending on whatever you want to work with. Then there's also the tool called justify under alignment too. Let's go back. Alignment, you can see this icon under justify. The moment you click on it, it helps you to justify your text. Take a look at the difference. This is the left alignment without justify. Now when I click on justify, you notice that the text at the top aligns on the straight line toward the left side too, not just the right side, and not just the left side alone. Now the right side is also aligned. I've undone it. Now I'm doing it again. So that's the justify tool. Let's go on because of time. You can try to add space between your letters. That is each letters I, J, K, L. You meant you increase this, you're increasing the space between the letters, and you can do it for words too. Increase it and the space between each word. So that's this. Then we also have your line spacing. That's the space between each line, the first line and the second line. Take a look at this. So that is your line spacing. Then we have stroke. If you want to add a layer around the text, you want to give it a layer. Let's say the background is bright. Now this text is also bright. Now to add a layer, I've added a layer to this text. You can see there's a black stroke around it. So that's the stroke. It gives a layer around it. Now take note of all these tools are not only for text. You can, if you continue across and get to the shape tools and other tools, you will notice that most of all these tools are similar and replica of each other. Now you can also have the shadow tool. Like this is a shadow. You can see this now. We allow the image to cast a dark shadow. You can change the color of the shadow to whatever you want. You can increase the blur radius, how deep the shadow should be, or how blurry into the background it should be. Then you can drop the opacity to the visibility. Then also you can give an outer glow. We don't often use this depending on the type of design you want to create. Sometimes some of these tools are not necessary. Okay, then we have the offset, allowing you to shift the shadow from left to right in reaction to light. When you're designing with light effects and you want to show the effect of shadow on a design, you have to use this so as to portray the effect of the light. So let's undo this. Inner shadow also, just like shadow, but it casts the color inside. Because we're using a tiny font here, you won't really see the effects, but you can practice with a deeper font and try it out. Emboss actually makes your text look like a 3D. There's a problem with emboss in every PixelLab, is that most of the time it doesn't work with all sizes. You can see now I'm trying to adjust the size to find a good size that you work with. Okay, yeah, it is. So it's kind of give it a 3D like effect. I will introduce you now to the zoom tool. Maybe you are working on a design and you want to go closer to see your design. That is your zoom tool. So I'm clicking on it now. I can use my two fingers to pull my design. So you can see it now. It gives this design, this text, your emboss gave it a type of curvy body. It's making it look like it's a 3D image or something. So that's emboss. Most designers don't use it because of it's often distorts the text. So I think we've covered all for the text to go. Okay, perspective. Perspective allows you to change the perspective of the text. You can have something like this. You activate it, you see the text, the perspective has changed. So I want to do that. So that's the perspective tool. Now we have the 3D rotate tool. If you want to rotate the text in 3D, here's a 3D rotate tool. Then we have your 3D text. To create a 3D text, you want the text to have depth. That's what we use the 3D text for. Then 3D shadow. Also same thing. You want to cast the 3D shadow, you use the 3D shadow. Then the reflection, to give a shadow effect of the text. You can see it's right beneath it. We have the shadow effect. Now moving on. We've considered the text tool. Now we're going to the next tool on the interface, which is our we often call it the shape We often call it the shape tool, but it is not just a shape tool because it does more than just give shape. It has a lot of different tools. In fact, this is one of the most important tools in PixelLab because it contains a lot of power. So the first one is the sticker tool, which allows you to import import stickers into your design. Most designers don't use this, so just to show you, you can see different stickers in case you want to use any. Your PixelLab might not have as much as mine. It's because there are different versions of the app, not really published. So that's the sticker tool. We have the import tool. From the import tool, you can import anything from your gallery. The import tool literally allows you to take any image from your gallery. Then we have the draw tool. The draw tool allows you to draw an image yourself. You can decide to draw anything. You can decide to draw, and you can edit them, the pen size. Look at it. So it allows you to manually create a shape or text of your own. The shape tool, yes, the shape tools allow you to import a shape, to create a shape into the design. You can change the color of the shape. You can decide to drop the opacity of the shape. You want it to be visible slightly. You want it to be completely visible. Then the stroke, you want to give it a stroke. Let's give it a stroke. Now the color of the stroke down here. You see, let's create it. You can see it. So the text tool is also one of the very powerful tool in PixelLab because through text manipulation or shape manipulation generally, through shape manipulation, you can actually achieve a lot of things in PixelLab. Then you're not limited to just a single shape. There are several shapes on the app. You can work with different shapes on the app, and through them you can also create new shapes to work with. Alright, so after the shape tool, we have the Bezier tool. The Bezier tool is a very complicated tool. Generally, I take it as a logo designing tool, but it does more than that. We'll consider it on a different video, on a different class, since it is a very broad tool. Now the last one is the arrow tool, which allows you to create arrows and design it as you see fit or need. So that is your arrow tool. So next is your background tool, the background tool over here. So the background is generally, like the name implies, it talks about the design background. Let me delete all this on the canvas so you can see the background. So right now we have a gradient blue background, and now we have the background tool. The first item available to us is the color. So we can use this to alter the color of the background. You can pick your normal color, white, blue, whatever color you want. Remember, you can make use of the color wheel. Select any color, click on OK, you are good to go. Let's say you want a lighter green. Good to go. Whatever you want your color to, pick your color. Now you are not limited to just one color. You have your gradient color. Remember this gradient we made the other time. So you can have your gradient color where you have multiple color on the background. So you can also work with that. Then you have your transparent. If you want a transparent background to create what we call PNG image, you can work with the transparent background. Then yeah, we also have your image size. This is generally talking about the size of your canvas. If you notice, when we open the interface, we showed you this where you see different canvas size. So if I click on this, I have a new canvas. So coming back to the background tool, you can also adjust your canvas size. If you want something you want a definite size, whatever size you want it to be A4 paper size, you want it to be a letter size, whatever you want, you can actually create whatever size you want. You can see whatever size, anything that comes to your mind. Image size. Then you have custom size made too. You have the square. If you click on this to give you a square. Image size. You want a profile picture square as it. You want a YouTube banner and channel banner, it will give you the size. So there are custom size also for the background. Now we also have your image tool. Image tool allows you to pick images as your background. So there are default images on PixelLab that you can pick and use as your background. Most designers won't use this. Then you have from gallery. You can actually select a background from your gallery by coming to the gallery background and by clicking on your gallery and selecting any background that you wish to work with. So you crop it and fit it into the frame. You have selected the background, so you can pick from the gallery, and you can even use your camera to take a picture of something in front of you or maybe somewhere and immediately use it as your background. Now the last but not the least is this is also, I say, it's a complementary background tool also, because it actually works in line with your background. The first one is the rotate. You see, I've rotated the background. I rotated the background already, so clicking on it continues to rotate your background. The next one is the Vyntra tool, and this actually gives this effect. It's a darkening effect around the edges while the middle remain bright. You can reduce it or decrease it depending on whatever design you're creating. It can come in handy. Now we also have the noise tool, which gives a rough texture to your design. You can increase how much rough you want it to be or how less rough you want it to be, so you can actually alter them with this. You might not really be able to use them now since you're starting, but along the line you will find out the importance of all this. Now you can also have a stripe background. If you want to add stripe to your background, that is this. So this tool in general, as you can see, all these tools in this last section are working with the background. You can increase the brightness of the background and you can decrease it. So these tools generally are just complementary to the background. Contrast, that's the difference between the color. If you notice, as I increase this, the color is becoming brighter. So you can alter the color of the background. You can see the original color was looking golden with white HBD text, and with this now the color is changing. So that's hue. Then saturation, that's how strong the color is. You can see now I've made it into something like a black and white. Now with increased saturation, the color comes out stronger. So these are what we have in the basic tools of your PixelLab. Now the interface above the PixelLab, you must have noticed there are some things over there. So we'll take each one after the other. This is your save interface. Whenever you've created a project, you have to save it. When you save as project, you are saving to your PixelLab. Let's just call this interface. You can save it whatever you want. This is interface. Now I've created interface. So remember I showed you where you can check your project. So my project, here you can see it. You can see interface at the top. Yes, interface. So you click on it, it will open up the project for you. So here we are back to what we started with. Then the second one, save as image, allows you to save the design or whatever you've created as a picture in your gallery. Then share, if you wish to share the design, that is also, this will involve saving it also. It will save first. Then when you click on the share by the side over, sorry, when you click on share over here, you can actually share it to your WhatsApp, to Instagram, to wherever you want. The image has been saved, so it will bring out the platform wherever you want to share to. Then we have this over here, the quotation tool, so where you can find different quotes, ready-made quotes in PixelLab. Let's say you want to wish someone a birthday, you don't know what to wish, you can come over here, pick your English, okay, something like this. You want something inspirational, and you can see different quotes that has been placed there. You want something about positivity, you can just come click on anyone and voila, it is there. Let's give it color so that you can see it. So let's give it a dark color. Let's go with black. Yeah, so you can see this, and likewise you can edit that text like a created text. You can change the color, you can do whatever you want to do with it. You can add to it or reduce it. So that's another way to reduce the size of your text tool is using this node over here. You need to click on it, it allows you to reduce the text, and you can use this smiley, whatever, this arc that looks like a smiley over here. You can use it to rotate your design, to rotate your text. You can also find it on the shape icon too, and you can make use of it for the shape also. So next we have the three dots over here, which shows you different things about the app. It's like an interface or a basic a menu for the app. So use image for the gallery, that's to import background or images from your gallery. Full screen takes your phone designing process to a full screen, so you can shrink it back. Then use image from camera, that has you want to pick an image on you want to snap an image. Export image, you have saved the image, you want to send it to your phone. Then image size, to change the size of the background. Contact us, this one is for the developers. You have an issue, you want to report a bug. Then tutorials, there's some tutorials on the PixelLab app, you can go through them also. It can link you up to different tutorials on the YouTube channels. Now you have a recover autosave. Let's say we've been working on this space now for a while, and let's say you want a previous version of what you've created. Let's say, oh, I have done design. Okay, take notes. There's no redo tool in PixelLab. There's only an undo. We have the text right now in the middle. Now I decided to move it to the top, but that was a mistake. I want to take it back to the middle. I can just click on the undo tool over here and click on it. You can see it send it back to the middle. Let's take this and let's reduce the size. Click on undo. You can see it. But now let's say you want to return it back to what it was. Let's say that size I reduced. There's no such thing like that in PixelLab. But peradventure you have made a design before, you edited it, but you no longer like the new one, you prefer the old one. That is where your recover autosave tool comes. You can remember the time frame of where you worked with the design. Let's come back to, you can take a look at the time. This is 7:51 with 59 seconds at the top, and here we have 7:42. So this, the lower it is, the longer that the previous, how backward the design was. So let's click on, let's say this one. Let's use this and see what we get. So you see a place we're working with. Oh, see, this place is still at the beginning. Let me check for something else. I want you to see the difference in time frame. So you see that, oh, the past work, oh, good. This is where I was showing you about the opacity on the background. So PixelLab auto saves once in a while. It just decides to save in a place. Now know that the save is limited. This is it. Recover to save. You can see the furthest time for 7:42. So we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different saves. So for a new one to come in, the previous one will be deleted. So it is not, the autosave is not reliable. You cannot rely on it. So most time I urge people to save over and over again. After saving the first time, go to your project. Let me go back to the project. Let's say we were over here with the project. I opened the project, we're working on interface, and it brings this, and I imported a shape, okay, no, an image. I imported the image. This is the image I imported. This is over here. Now I decide that, okay, this image, okay, I don't want, let's add another shape by the side. We have this. So you can just save again. When you click on the save, you can see there's three instead of two. There's three different options. The first one is save changes, which means you're still saving that same project, but you're just updating it. Now, if I've clicked on save changes, I can come over here and open the interface, and I will make the same thing that I left. But let's say, oh, I've saved this now, but I want to adjust it, make it two adjustments. Let's do something like this. Okay, we have something like this now, and I want to save this one to separate. I want to keep the first save, and I want to keep this one also. I can come here, instead of clicking save changes, let's save as project. Now let's say this is number 2 interface, and we have it. Hola, check your project. We have interface and we have number 2 interface. So I can pick whatever one I want to work with and change through them. So in PixelLab, please note to always save at all time. I've showed you the layer tool. You can use this here to adjust your layer tool. You can make one, place one at the top. It's just like using your to back to front. So the problem with to back to front is, look at this one now, this particular one I'm shaking. If you use to back with the to back tool will automatically take it to the bottom. And if you use to front, it will automatically bring it to the top. So now let's say you want the text to actually be, you want the whatever it is, icon text or whatever, to stay in between. You have to use this tool. You see this dot 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 at the side, you just place your finger on it, hold it and pull it down. So I can place it in the middle now. It will stay in the middle. Now you see some tools by the side. The first one is let's come to this shape. You can see the shape that I've highlighted now. If I come here, I can move this shape. Now let's open the layer and click on this padlock button. When you click on padlock, you can no longer edit the shape. So let's say you're designing with so many elements and you don't want to move something. Let's say you're sure, okay, this is where I want it. I don't want it to move. You can decide to lock your whatever the elements you're working with so that it won't be movable. So that's the lock. The second one is your visibility. I can try to remove it completely, but it's still there. Take a look at the let me bring it up, make it bigger. Yes, this is it. So now I'm clicking on that invisibility to the eye2. You can see you can no longer see it, but it is there. And if I remove this, you can see it back again. Now I can use this to actually do some little adjustments to front to back. You can see to front to back, that the last two at the back. The last two at the bottom is to front to back. The left one is to front, the right one is to back. The next one is you can see your relative movement, rotation, your movement, and the layer tools. So we can also have the delete tool in case you want to delete from over here. You can delete everything at a go. So with that, that's the main thing in your PixelLab application, and with proper continual usage, you'll be able to maximize and enjoy designing on the PixelLab application. I've come to the end of the class today. I'll see you in the next class.